All right, so we got Leon. Leon, your strengths to me are you have pace to your game. You usually can get by like your initial defender, really good, and you use typically using pace to do that. Your on-ball defense, for your age, is above average, I'd say. You got a really good attitude. The weaknesses are the fact that you don't know that those are gifts, the things that I named. Most kids don't have pace to their game. They're just downhill players. Um, so for instance, like you don't play with pace on purpose. You do it because it's in you and you do it, but you don't realize like what it's doing for you. When you should use it more often. Like I think in the open court you should use it a ton. I think you should use it to get a step on a guy and body up. So since you're not using it on purpose, you can't take up all the advantages that playing with good pace and gear changes does for you. Another thing is like you get by your initial defender, but you don't play ahead. So you haven't played defense at the level. That's why I said you're a good on ball defender, but a team defender, you haven't learned those concepts yet. So once you get a guy on your hip because of how you play the game and you get by the initial defender, now if he helps up, you got to know to throw over the top pass or sideways pocket pass. And right now you don't understand those differences. So although you're capable of getting advantage, unlike a lot of kids, you're not able to take advantage of those advantages, by playing a play ahead. And so, these are all things you got to learn. But again, what you have is a gift. And if you don't realize this is a gift and you're just out there hooping, you never learn to become elite at anything. And I think with your gifts, you have a chance to become elite if, you work on those things. And then the other thing that I said is your defense. So you play pretty good on ball defense. I think you got a lot to learn as a team defender, but you don't make anybody do anything like on purpose. Like, oh, he can't go left, so you force him left, or you guard everybody the same. So you're gonna have to learn to like, oh, I'm gonna play this guy physical, or I'm gonna keep my hand in his shot pocket. So you're ready to move your feet on ball defensively, but you don't have a plan on how you're gonna make this guy not scoring his A or B move and only scoring you with his C move. All right, and that takes a higher IQ, and that's the last point. Is that well, not the last point. You got to become more vocal. I think that's a weakness because of the position you play. You can't be yourself when you're on the court. You have to be somebody else. You have to be a loud person. Only when you're in between the lines, though. When you're dealing with ball pressure and stuff, I think that's a struggle dealing with physical teams and physical defenders. All right, when they bump you off your mark, that's when you're going backwards and not downhill and attacking. So you got to learn to overcome that. And then you don't know enough basketball right now. So we'll talk about that as we go through the film. And as your IQ gets higher, you'll be able to like cover a lot of these things that we're talking about. So anyway, let's jump to the video. This first section is gonna be about possessions. This whole game is about possessions. If you could get possessions, there'll be a place for you on the court. And right now, you don't get enough possessions. Dennis Rodman, guys like that who PJ Tucker, he gets a lot of steals. Like, you got to get those possessions that come to you. So here, I know you're not going to compete and be the Dennis Rodman and get the rebounds like Ty and Kavion, but anything that squirts out, you got to get. So this guy jumps for the rebound, gets it knocked out his hand. You got to get to that. And you got to play on the balls of your feet more. But he just kind of bullies you out the way, and then we don't get that possession. So you see, you're not going to get the rebounds up here off the rim, but you need to get all the crumbs that come out. All right, so that's a possession loss you didn't get. All right. So now, as this ball comes out, it becomes time to anticipate. All right, so now that you know that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and their fifth guy is right here, there's nothing down here to protect. All the plays that they throw to or whatever are going to happen up here. So you want to play the game a little bit higher. So now this ball comes out, you got to get to that. All right. You got to beat him there. All right. So, that's the second possession we don't get. Now, look, your on-ball defense is good. The thing is, you got to play this game as a team defender. So now we see all five guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you don't want to position yourself low because there's nothing to protect here. All right. So you want to position yourself higher so you can anticipate getting one of these steals as they come across. All right. So if you know how to anticipate, I think even that this low pass, because when he's jumping, it's not going to have much on it. Again, there's nothing down here to protect. You should be a little bit higher, right? So it's your positioning, and then I think that's a pass that you can run through. This is the same thing. You just want to anticipate. You can literally see all 5 guys, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so you can see the 5th guy there. You got to have your knees bent ready to run through that because there's nothing to protect down here. All right, so that's a steal you don't get. And I know it doesn't, I'm not sure if you could recognize that you can get to that, but you absolutely can get to that. Here's the other thing. If you get that steal, who's going to stop you? All right, so being more aggressive, and that's what I would need in the games. I'm always telling you, hey, play more aggressive, Leon. Really go after that ball, Leon. And you're not going to get in trouble for being changing the narrative about yourself and being physical and aggressive and relentless and all that. But you still want to be the containment guy. All right, but like I said, look at your on-ball defense. That's fine. Hey, he hits that shot, you got to live. So that's good. You just got to learn how to anticipate and get those extra possessions. Another possession. This was against that weaker team that we played, and you had a stronger offensive game. But look, this ball squirts out. You got to get on the floor and get that. Who ends up getting it? It's Kavion. Why? Because Kavion's on the floor. All right, so this is definitely something I've asked. But you got to make sure you're doing it. Boom, it hits the ground, get on the floor. You can't bend at the waist and get that ball. All right. All right, so here we go. All right, got the little floater. I like you taking that, but you got to get this. It's just possessions. Like I said, when this happens, get to it. Your hands are on it, rip it away from them. All right, because if not, they're going to be on a break. Let's get into execution, like the rules to our defense, right? So we want you in line with the ball. All right, so this ball comes, you're not in line with it. Your body is sideways, inviting this line pass, which doesn't give us time to get to them. So they throw it on the line, and that's just too fast because you're not in line with the ball. All right. All right, so same thing. You see Isaac's in line with the ball, so the ball's going up like this. It's probably almost as high as the rim, or now it is. So now you got to make sure you're in line with it, but you're still inviting. So, we've talked about that a lot. So these are the things you got to show me as a coach that you can consistently do. But now that ball is not high. That's on a rope, and it's just getting there too quick. So you got to learn to get in line with the ball so they have to throw a looper and not on a line to them. So this is another one. And so like what you got to understand is you're leaving a corner guy, right? So even if this was man or whatever, you know that there's a corner guy being left. You don't want to close out to a guy who can't score from here at this angle. You want to come to him in this straight angle so he has to throw over you. But you get right in front of him, and now they throw it right on a line to the corner. So you can't keep making the same mistakes, right? So now they're going to get a wide open shot. That was the bad team, so they're probably going to miss anyway. But what you got to make sure is that you can execute consistently. So one of the things that I've always been telling you is I was like, hey, I want you to see what I see. So we're going to find a clip or two of, of exactly how I want it done. So here we go. So right here, you'll notice that Jacob May is in line with the person in the corner. So now that ball, you see how high that ball is? On the flight of the ball, he's running to it. And that's how we want it done, because now we could get that trap because the ball isn't a pass and immediate shot because it came from the sky. Plus, he's a lower percentage shooter because the pass came from the sky and not on a line like a shooting machine. So that's how I want you to make sure you're doing it when you're in line with the ball. When I say you're in line with the ball. Next up, let's talk transition defense. I'm trying to get on everybody to get better at this. All right, and it's just like anything. If a lot of our team isn't doing it and you can bring it, then that's going to add value to you. So all these things are stuff to really pay attention to. All right, so we get a turnover. The ball's coming. You're the last guy back. What you can't do is run at the ball because all they're going to do is throw it over your head. Well, you run and you stop, and now they just throw it over your head for a wide open layup. So, like, we got to make sure that we're not running up at the ball. That's one, and again, I think we all need to grow at. But here's the other thing. Once you see the other team has the ball, you got to get depth quickly. All right, so now, once you get depth, you got to turn and run. Backpedaling isn't going to help you. So, like, right now, you're backpedaling, and this guy is past you. So, eventually, as that guy keeps dribbling, Cade's going to have a responsibility to either cover this guy or the ball. So you got to hurry up and get back, especially when the ball's opposite. You're still backpedaling, and now if he's a better player, he can turn and score that. So you got to make sure you're back. So look how you're backpedaling as we're going back. Should have turned and run. Now you're late. All right, so you got to get better in transition. But let's go to a couple of them that I really liked and thought you did well at. So let's look. So first of all, I think I like this. I think you should have shot that, first of all. There's no need to drive unless you see an opening for a layup, and there's no better shot than right there. But you gear change, there's a pace change, you throw a nice pass, so now you're behind the play. And I like once they get the rebound, we're on the run, and we're stopping ball first. Like I said, you can move your feet. I wouldn't go for the steal right there. I just keep him in front, and now we get to play defense. That's good transition defense. So what you got to grow at is when you're the back guy, not the guy at the, behind the. This is probably my favorite one because we've been talking about this for a long time. All right, so we get a long rebound. They're off. All right, now here. First of all, as soon as this shot is taken, you know you're not getting the rebound. You got to have court awareness, know he's getting back, and start working your way back. All right, because they got a guy back. So you should have started moving back. But since you didn't, hey, we don't always do the right thing. Just take the foul. The only thing I want you to do is not wrap them up. Just go for a steal and foul them because they might not call it. Don't go for the obvious foul. But I like that one because you got back. You knew you were behind the play and you took the foul so we could play defense. Back it up back to the aggressiveness. So like right here, you're being aggressive with this guy. This is their top player. Obviously, that's who they want with the ball. So you're kind of biting him up, make sure you don't catch. So now somebody else catches. And he's not going to make a good decision, likely. So I want you to see like how your aggressiveness that we've been asking for caused them to turn it over, and you didn't even get a stat. So that's what I need consistently, and that's why I need you to be aggressive. All right, so you were a little bit more aggressive. I think you need to pick this up clean. It comes right to you. You get the first touches on it. 1, 2, 3. You get the first 3 touches. It needs to be in your hand or you need to be on the ground. But once they do get it, I see some aggressiveness from you. All right, you snatching it away. That's what I want to see from you, more aggressiveness. Now, let's talk about poise, all right? So this ball goes. It's our ball because we had to jump. So now, okay, this over the top is open. Just throw it over the top. You know Tower, just run the play, but you're not poised enough to see it right now, so you want to just throw it to the easier pass instead of just throwing over the top. None of those guys could jump with Ty. All right, so be more poised in that situation and just see the play that we're trying to accomplish. All right, here's another poise situation. You get the ball out. You're leaning on your toes, so you almost step in, and then I thought you were good once you gain your balance. Now, the other reason you need poise is and awareness is you need to know time, score, and how many timeouts you have. Those are the 3 things you always need to know. So now you're good, and then boom, you still end up stepping in bounds. So, he calls that in and out on you. So, again, more poise. You get the pressure situations kind of push you to do things you shouldn't do. You're being aggressive by crashing the boards, and we're in Phoenix, so I'm not sure if you're crashing or you're flashing, but regardless, you're in the paint waiting for a rebound. All right, now this is where awareness comes in. You got to realize that bottom guy is going up to Grant, and you need to back up closer to the backboard so that pass will be easier. Because Grant's not going to like snake up a pass in there to you. That's not who he is as a player. So you got to make yourself more available so you get the ball. But you stand in line with the guy and you start walking forward. There's no reason to walk forward. Stay deep so he can make an easier pass down low to you. So just how I felt like you were kind of slightly out of position on the last clip by not going back but still walking forward. Once this ball goes out, you're slightly out of position as well. So we got 3 guys at the bottom, really 4 because you're not supposed to let them catch corner. And we're going to talk about that reason why in comparison. So you're being aggressive, but you let them throw it in. And our rule is don't let them throw it in. So now, they do whatever they do and get the ball. So let's look at a video that shows you why I want you not to let that guy to catch and why you got to be in position over there in that corner so he won't catch. Again, while I'm showing you these videos is I want you to visually see what I'm asking of you because I could tell sometimes you don't understand what I'm asking. So right here we got our 3 guys at the bottom. We got our 4th guy covering corner. May is not going to let him catch corner because we want to cover all this down here and we want you to throw it over the top so we can go for that steal. So we got it all covered. Now, boom, we get that steal. So you got to think as a coach, me as a coach, when I'm looking at you, I'm like, is Leon gonna go in there and execute? And if it's a big if, then you in that situation, I want this possession. We just got the ball, right? So I need things to be executed. It goes way beyond just points. All right, so here's one more. As you can see, they're taking out baseline. Cade has the corner pass. Nobody gets there. We're big, so they have to throw a big looper so our top guy can run through this pass. All right, it's all by design so we could get this. Get into like more of the point guard, getting us into stuff, being able to deal with physical pressure. So you see how Cade's turned right now? He turned his body so he could protect the ball. And he don't have to speed up, right? So then he can come off the screen, initiate the offense. So when you lift, you catch it in triple threat. All right. You should be comfortable. But your struggle, like I said at the beginning, is with physical defenders. All right. So now here comes the screen. You don't wait on it. So it could be a moving screen on Grant because you took off too early. But here's where the panic sets in. As soon as you mishandle it, now there's panic. And all you got to do is what Cade did earlier and just turn your body. But now, since you're panicking, you feel like you got to go somewhere. So now we're not in anything. So as a coach, I'm just like, okay, we're not in anything anymore because of the physicality. So you got to learn to deal with that. All right. So they call a foul, but we didn't have an identity in that moment. Here's the team. This is the team that we had played. Well, this is the same game as before. You're dealing with this defender. He gets physical with you, right? All right. And as soon as he gets physical, now, if we're going to run open, you got to be down here, remember? You can't start the offense way up there. But ball pressure and physical defenders are pushing you back. All right. So now there's no screen. So Kavion can't help you. And then that's when, you lose it. So again, you got to get used to dealing with those physical defenders so we could still get into our sets. This is still a situation where I want you to get us in something, as a lead guard. So what I was telling you is I was like, hey, get us in open, and then you kind of just get stuck right there. And I don't want you to pick up your dribble unless you're ready to shoot or pass. All right, so now you're stuck with the ball at half court and there's no pressure. All right, so I need you to be able to get us in something really quick so now we could create order. So K comes up and does that, but you got to be able to be vocal enough to yell out open, keep that ball in your hand, and get us set up and create an identity for us. Another thing I like to see is for you to create order. Like, I know you had heard me because my arms were folded and I was like, K, what are we in? What are we in? And you were right in front of me, so I know you heard me. So you got to say, hey, I'm going to take responsibility because right now, this doesn't look like anything we run right now. Right? Like we always have spacing. So when you catch the ball, if you can create order by catching the ball, dribbling up and calling something, that's valuable to me. All right. So now, but when you catch it, it's just like panic. Instead of pulling it up and doing what I was asking, we drive baseline. There's no space. And we end up taking a really tough shot. So you got to learn to create order because every coach wants that. So here's an example of what I'm saying. This very similar play. I was like, hey, what are we in? What are we in? Right? So we get the ball. We still don't have an identity yet, right? People are still running around. And then Isaac gets the ball. All right. So now there's order, right? No ball pressure. We run the set that we want to run. And then we get a layup. So that's the environment you got to start creating. And that's just point guard duties. All right, it takes reps and it takes practice, but you can get there if you work at it. Also, understand there's timing and rhythm that comes with which should be all offense, right? So you come off, we're running open. We set the screen, we get it. You get a pin down from May. All right, so you just need to wait for the screen unless there's an obvious opportunity there early. All right, and there's not, you take too long and you're taking off. Kavion's heading to the elbow so he could set the screen at a proper angle, but you took off already. All right, and it's just too crowded to get anything. And this screen is for you to get downhill. So the timing of the offense gets disrupted because you're not patient enough. So you got to learn to be patient, catch it on that wing, and then, and then go to work and make all the reads we talk about out of pick and roll. And this is one of the situations, and you do this a lot when you catch on the move. Like when you're running at the ball, this happens to you quite a bit. So the ball's getting reversed. You're running at the ball. So you know that drill, like when we do Japanese peasant drill and meet the ball drill, this is that. All right, you probably should land in a jump stop. It's in your hand, but it gets juggled. right? And that's a drill that seems insignificant, but you got to rep it out a lot because as a guard, you're going to be coming and meeting the ball a lot, and this happens too often. All right. Now I do like this. Hey, you keep working after you turn it over and then give us a foul and they got to take it out. I could take that, but just keep in mind that drill is going to be, one that's really important, especially for a guard. Against that team we blew out. All right, your deep corner. There's timing that comes with every play. All right, so right now, as we come off of this, don't leave before May's screen comes too early. All right, but then you didn't have to catch the ball so deep. So now you catch it deep, and then you have to dribble into it, then shoot the three. But against the stronger teams, you're not gonna get this three. So you got to lift straight to right here into your shooting range. Don't willingly run out of your shooting range because against the better teams, that shot's not going to be there. So, although you hit the three, it's not within the rhythm of the offense. So, good shot, just catch it closer. All right, and again, here's an example of just where to lift to. Same play. We go down, we set the screen. Jackie lifts right to her shooting range. So that's where you want to lift to each time because now you always want to be a triple threat. So even though she misses it, she's a triple threat to shoot it, drive it, and of course pass it. Tell them what to execute. Because keep in mind, these are all things that you got to do within a team, and they're not things that you typically train on. So this is a rub screen, right? Texas. You got to get below Ty's man and then set the screen. So you see how he's in front of you? So now when Ty cuts, his guy can meet you. So you eventually still end up being wide open, but that screen has to be lower. And your job in your mind has to be, I gotta be the best guard screener on the team. Like you gotta carry the torch in some of these areas that people don't think about or aren't doing on purpose. Here's the visual for the same play. All right. Kavion comes up. Watch where Isaac goes. He goes below him, and then he walks into his body. So now Ty's more open for the layup. All right. And, if they don't guard it right or both go with him, then Isaac will still pop up open for the three, but you got to set that strong screen. Get into some of the gifts that you have and like the passing and things like that you're capable of that you need to learn to do on purpose. So first, I like the way you space out. Cade's telling you to get there, but the more you space out, the more room he has to drive, and when your guy hits, the more room you have. So he drives, and because you're so spaced now, this guy can't guard you. You should take that shot, but this is what I'm talking about. Gear change, take off. Most players can't see this diagonal pass, and you saw it. So, we got to find a way to make sure you're getting stronger at it. So now we get a wide open three or wide open shot in the corner because of that closeout. But the closeout is because you're a paint touch. All right, now here's a bad catch, good pass. Now but you're on the move. Keep that in mind. There's traffic, but you drop it. All right, you got to catch it clean. But that's a really good pass right there. All right, interior passing. All right, regain the ball. Boom, drop it off. Throw a bounce pass next time. All right, so here's the transition plays you got to see. All right, so we cut off sideline. That's good. You're right there for the steal. Now, right here, you got a 3-on-1. You got to make this play happen as a guard. Like right now, you're only seeing the rim. And when I say be aggressive, I don't mean you have to shoot. I just mean be aggressive. Make this defender guard you by being aggressive, then drop it off for an easy layup. But what happens is, boom, now they block the shot, and now we got to take it out. Well, actually, it's out on us, so it's going the other way. So you got to find a way as a guard to make this be an easy play for your team. All right? So here's the thing. I can see you growing because you're getting, this play is going to show toughness and aggressiveness just to run to the middle, and then you're going to get a rebound. So you're getting half of plays right and then half of them wrong. So what's the rule when it goes middle? You look to score first, then you look high-low, down to Kavion if that's not there, and then you look opposite to Cade. But you throw it right back to where it came from. So that's not the rules we use. But I like that the ball goes up, you find a way to get that rebound, boom, put back. All right, that's good. Let's play, another sign of toughness. All right, and you're starting to execute what we've been talking about. So now you're blocking in. That's you down here. That's perfect. All right, and they called a foul on the jump shot, but that rebound's yours if they don't call a foul. Another good play here. You do an immediate attack. You're the most open when you first catch it. So it's a scramble right now because Kavion got the offensive board. Immediate attack. It's just tough shot. You're in the paint and you're getting by the initial defender. Let's talk about areas where I see obvious growth. All right, so when we're against the zone, you are starting to learn the rules to our offense and you're making 0.5 decisions. Let's look at these next 4 plays, and this is where we'll end. And you just look how quickly you're making decisions. And we want that to convert to man. So right here, the ball goes middle, boom, high low, bounce pass right to Grant. All right. I don't think Grant should have shot it, but I think that's a really good pass. Really. All right, here's a really good thing. You do this from different positions. So now you're in the short corner. Hit short corner. Where's the dive guy? Boom. You know where you're going with the ball now because you know the rules to it, right? So you're able to go through your progressions really quick and make really good passes. Let's look at a couple more. All right, now you're in a different spot, having to make a different decision. You look middle. Obviously, you're looking there, and short corner. It's not there. Good decision. Then you move, you flash, and immediately, quick pass to Grant. This is where we'll end the video. So again, all these are really, they're called 0.5 decisions. You know where you're going with the ball really fast. All right, so boom, we hit middle to May. Bam. All right, so like what I want you to know is like you're growing in a lot of these areas. I'm not sure if you realize it all the time, but you are. So the zone is obviously a little easier to read because it looks and it is the same each time. Man to man is going to move a little more, but if you grow in every single area, you know, then you're going to look different than everybody else. So again, keep your head up, man. Keep growing. And like I said, I see your potential and I see your progress.